21 years old. It's the year 2001 in New York City. You had to be hustling, knocking on every door, asking everyone to take a look at your line, getting out there.
The fashion world was very different. There wasn't a community to support new talent. The idea of investment into new brands wasn't out there in the same way as it is today. The internet hadn't fully engrossed fashion yet.
Right, there's no social media.
Thank
now
God.
That's
Let me tell you.
You're glad?
Yeah, I am.
Why is that?
My personality and who I was at that time was absolutely prime for social media. I was totally novice. Fashion ain't easy. That's the reality. You know, not every door opens. It's not Emerald City. I have parents that support creativity. And I have a business partner that's been hugely supportive. And I have gotten an incredible business education from growing my own company. And I'm still learning. I hope I'm learning till the day I'm not here. Life is about continuing to be open and learning.
You are in so many different places now. You have all of your Zac Posen lines. You're a judge on Project Runway.
At this point, from what I have seen of your work, it's like a one-trick pony. This judge is getting very bored.
Creative director, Brooks Brothers.
I wanted to really tap into the rich, deep heritage, almost 200 years at Brooks Brothers.
Designing uniforms for Delta Airlines.
I'm so excited and honored to be working on the new uniforms for Delta.
You've got a line with Mac.
Zac X Mac.
And a cookbook coming out.
Cookbook in a year. We have time for that. That's my pleasure project.
You love to cook.
I go home, I de-fashion stress by cooking.
All these different categories that you are playing in, that you are owning, is that what it takes to be a successful designer?
There's different kinds of success. There's creative success, there's business success. I'm always very concentrated at the core of what matters to me, which is the work. And I do whatever it takes to support the creativity of mine and my studio. That's the heart, what really matters to me. That's the community. What I've learned through this whole experience, through creativity, through business, there are always hurdles, there are always struggles. As ambitious as you want to be, you have to remember, enjoy process. Cherish the moment and the people that you're working with and treat them as a family and as a community.
I'm sure that there's a huge team of people who their entire livelihood is based on the decisions that you make. How do you manage that stress?
I feel a great deal of huge responsibility for everybody that works for me. That extends to the people at Neiman Marcus in San Francisco that are selling my product on the store. The responsibility extends way beyond just the people in my community. I consider my retailers my collaborators. I consider my customers a partnership with each one of them individually. And so I just try to do the best job I can to deliver something that surprises them, excites them.
Take us behind the scenes. What is involved in all of this?
Collaboration is king to all of this. What I have learned is how to be a good leader over the last 15 years, and I hope that that will evolve too. I'm not stuck in a way. You have to as well be a malleable leader.
Which means what?
When we are in a final fitting, I know that I can sculpt that garment, change it, tweak it, give it just the right amount of ZP mojo into that moment.
ZP mojo,
yeah,
I like that.
Construction line form, fix a shoulder, fix a balance of a garment, cancel a garment, scrap it.
How tough is it to cancel a garment?
Well, if it ain't working, it ain't working. I don't, you got to make those decisions.
In your gut.
I've learned I've definitely over the years and way back when, let's go 10 years back, put things down Runway, that you retrospectively have that what was I thinking moment.
Care to share any of those moments?
I'm always forward, balancing exciting the customer, helping the retailer. It's like a fine balance.
Your most recent fashion show, almost exclusively women of color, which is very different from almost any other designer out there right now. Why are you one of the minority embracing this idea that beauty doesn't just come in one singular package?
Well, what I want to say about that is I've always supported diversity. In a world when image has become so hugely important for people's identity, there needed to be this reminder that fashion and clothing is really about how this impacts and nourishes your inside and brings out your personality. I've dressed women of all ages on the red carpet. I've dressed women of all body types, and I'm really proud of that because that made big impact.
How key is it to get a celebrity in your gown?
Well, it's not life or death. You can't live by the red carpet.
Do you do a little cheer when you see somebody out and about? Maybe they're on Instagram.
Of course, and it's also because of the whole teamwork of it.
Yeah.
There is a big initiative to facilitate these.
They tell you what they're thinking?
Sometimes, yeah. Very often.
Do you ever have a disagreement with a celebrity and wonder, like, how much do I
It never
say
really
I don't
gets
agree?
there.
Oscars are right around the corner.
They are.
Do you know who's wearing
I do
Zac
not.
Posen? You don't?
No, nobody knows who's wearing what at this stage.
So
It's
you
all
still don't know?
A changing chess game.
And when you say chess game, how much competition is going on?
The competition is very high. There's finance involved. There are politics involved, like in anything in life, like campaigning.
Your first Oscars, the first time someone wore your dress, what did you learn in that circumstance that would kind of surprise and shock us?
The real big moment at the Oscars was when it happened really naturally with Gwyneth Paltrow. She saw it on public access TV.
When you got that phone call that Gwyneth Paltrow had seen your look on public access TV, what was the first thought that went through your mind?
She's good taste. She's good taste. She picked the right dress for her. It fit perfectly. I mean, it got to LA. I was there for like a final try-on fitting in the dressing room with her and her family. It was one of the most easy processes I've ever had in this whole experience of dressing.
You're a judge on Project Runway. Kanye West just sent his latest line, Yeezy, down the runway. What would you say as a judge on Project Runway if Kanye West was a contestant?
What he did was kind of extraordinary. He's taking the idea of fashiontainment to a whole other level. I mean, Madison Square Garden, that many models there, and that is evolving it. That's somebody on his own creative journey taking it to his next level. I live for these moments. I thrive for the creative and business success of all of my contemporaries.
What is the Dummy's Guide for Business, a la Zac Posen?
The Dummy Guide to Business, a la Zac Posen. Well, I definitely have a few pointers. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. At the end of the day, there is no outline that can be the finite one and only business plan. Each person and business and product is different. You have to find it through trial and error.
And that can be a little painful at times.
For sure, but you have to also be resilient. Creativity, when it matches with business, is about resilience. And if you thrive off of that resilience and drive, then you might have a shot at this business.
Unlike when you got started, young designers have access to social media. What do you think is the smartest way to use that?
I think that young people should be using their social media to give themselves an original platform and voice. Get your message out there. How do you believe in what kind of clothing you want to make? What is it about? It should be authentic. It should be real. There should be a reason you have the voice and something to say that's different to the world out there.
But if you're stuck in that creative process, where do you find your inspiration?
I return to nature.
Return to nature.
I go to my parents' farm and I return to nature. It reprioritizes everything for me in place, and then I kind of have a clear head.
Are you ready for some quick rapid fire questions?
I hope so.
You have your coffee.
caffeine.
Caffeinate. Worst trend of all time.
If you got style, you can pull off anything.
Smartest thing you've done in your career.
Learning to trust. Surround yourself with the right people and trust in process.
The thing you wish you knew when you started.
Patience is a virtue.
Hardest thing that you've had to learn.
You're not in control of everything.
Number one piece of advice to people, young designers aspiring to be like Zac Posen.
My favorite question. The reason I am on Project Runway, and this is to support and promote people who have creative ambition and that they can build careers off of their dream. Take your time, get as much experience as possible, know your history, go to stores, see other clothing that's out there, and start cutting and sewing and draping and making your clothing yourself. Don't rely on a sketch and just pass it on. Everybody has their own process, but I do believe there's something very important about the tactile adventure and experience, and then wearing it yourself if you can, or having a friend wear it if possible. and getting that reaction. And you learn from that experience. I mean, that is the key. Get your hands dirty, roll the fabric on the floor, get your sewing machine out, and get creating. Creativity is important as, as breathing. Hi, I'm Zac Posen, and you're watching Real Biz with Rebecca Jarvis.
Go ahead, have some coffee. I'll ask you a question,
Okay.
you get hydrated. So
Absolutely.
go ahead, have some more
Sorry.
coffee. You don't have to apologize.
I like getting things in one go.
I'm glad.
I can stand there
You're
like
doing
that.
great.
Sanka.
Sponsored by Senka. They're really rolling out a lot of ad dollars these days, believe it or not.
Zaxxon. Worst trends of all
What
time.
are the short skirt things called? They're jorts? Or is it jorts?
That can be cute, like a little Judy Garland tap dance skirt, a little mini
So
skirt.
basically what you're saying is there's no such thing. Like